as far as childhood, man, I grew up. I'm really a country boy. You know what I'm saying? I was born in Nacogdoches, Texas. You know what I mean? I'm the middle child of. I have my older brother Craig, my twin brother Broderick, and my triplet sister Mary. A lot of people they hear me say 50-50 twin, but they don't know I'm actually a triplet. And I grew up on the north side of Houston. You know what I mean? Tidwell is a notorious block. You know what I'm saying, for the drug selling, all that. You know what I mean? But my mom, she sheltered us from a lot of things. But we went out and you know what I'm saying, got it in anyway. But Tidwell was the block that I grew up on as a kid, and Gulf Bank block. That's the street that me, Slim Thug, Little Mario, J Dog, we all grew up on the same street. You know what I mean? And so at age 15, that's the street that where I learned my street smarts. That's where I learned my intellectual part of me too. Cause you know, growing up on Gulf Bank, you had to be street savvy. You know what I mean? You really
Yeah.
did. I was musically inclined through my dad. My dad actually he would have one of us beatbox. He would have one of us do the MC Hammer, and then he would have one of us, you know what I'm saying, say a rap. At this as kids, and he was a DJ. And I remember going to the club with my pops as a kid, drinking soda while he drink Hennessy and set up his DJ equipment. And but the peculiar thing is me, Paul Wall, Chameleon, there, we actually went to a junior high school. It was called Cook Junior High, and this is when
Yeah.
Chameleon there used to draw our album covers. He's always been artistic, so it was me, Chameleon there, Paul Wall, and Razak, and I'm finna they gonna trip out. But Chameleon there's rap name was Payroll, Paul Wall name was Overflow, I was Lil Stash and Shorty, and Razak was Midnight Thug. You know what I'm saying? So that's in seventh grade. And and when I changed school districts, the thing is I started going to school with Slim Thug and Trey the Truth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's when Slim was Stave, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
he would be the tallest person, you know what I'm saying, at the school. He was the only one with a grill that had Slim in his mouth. And Trey, you know, I knew him as Frazier. And also Lil Boss, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So it's crazy how we all grew up together. I knew all of them before we were known. But fast forward, I started going to Eisenhower the next year from eighth grade, and this is when me, AD from the Swisher House,
Uh huh.
Lil Mario, PJ the Rap Hustler, and Slim Thug, we all went to Eisenhower. J Dog was at Aldine, and this guy named DJ Tyrone, he had a label, and Mike Jones actually rapped with DJ Tyrone also. His name used to be Sachi. You know what I'm saying? Uh,
Man, everybody had different names back then, huh?
Yeah, man, and but that's when I started. Me and my brother, uh, when we would beat on people would beat on the bleachers to hear me and my brother rap, and basically I was inspired by Screw Tapes. My favorite rapper was Lil Kiki, and Fat Pat, and when they would beat on the bleachers, I would try to imitate Kiki, but it was sounding good to people, and so this one guy named Carlos Field of Unified Records, he I don't know how he heard about me and my brother, but he asked us to come over. He asked my mom could we start rapping with his label, and she was like no at first, but then we got kicked out the house. My mom found some weed residue in the closet because we were selling weed and she didn't know it. But when we got kicked out, that's when we called Carlos and was like, "We ready to rap now." And the album ended up selling like 40 to 60,000 independent as 16-year-olds. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And but AD from the Switch House actually picked me up from the block one day. All of us being from Acres Home, and he said, "Hey, twin, you want to go to Swisher House with me?" And I'm thinking we're gonna go to a big house or either like a studio, but it actually was a pink house in Homestead neighborhood. And when I got there, Big Pig and Big Tiger was there, so I was nervous because they were already known. And that's when I got on Final Chapter 9-6 at Michael Watt's house.
Mm.
So that basically that put me in perspective as I want to do this because the next single was Big Ballin' Shot Callin, you know, and we all it was I think eight of us, maybe six or seven of us that recorded on the song, but my verse wasn't gonna make the cut. But Sab Warfare, I thank him to this day. He said, "Watch, take me off." He said, "Twin verse is going hard. You know, they're 20 inches off the ground, three from the curb." And
Yeah.
that song right there done a lot for me. It really did. It really did.
So what happened when you first heard that song on the radio? Because it was hot when it first came out, man. I mean, it was
Man,
always on the radio.
man. When I heard that, uh, man, I felt famous. You know, it's like I went from I went from wishing that they would ask for my autograph, like when me and Slim Thug would be together. You know, J Dog, Lil Mario, because they were on the first song, so they were already hot.
Mm-hmm.
And but when that verse came out, people started being excited to meet me, and that's the feeling, the gratification I was looking for. It's like at first you're not tripping on the money side, you want the fame, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but when I heard that, it's like I put on for my block, you know what I'm saying? Me and my brother, we started a clique called Hollywood Clique. And basically because the way the street was, all of us celebrities being on the street and it being a known street, but what that done was I put it on for my block, so I already had a team behind me, and they were so supporting of me. But that song right there, man, it made me feel bigger than life. It really did. It really did. With that, me, Paul Wall, and Chameleon, now we were already associates, but that's when I got on the Catch Me at the Kappa flow, the well known Catch Me at the Kappa. So when we started doing all those freestyles on the Swisher House tapes, I kept my rock for rock thing going on the side because that was my vision. You know what I mean? And when Rayface, Slim Thug's brother Rayface, got out of prison, he was like, "Who these twins I keep hearing about?" Because they from Gulf Bank too. And then he said, "We're gonna start this Boss Hogg Outlaw, and I want the twins." And so that's when we started Boss Hogg Outlaw. The first flow was Batter Up. You know what I'm saying? And that was well known. You know what I mean? And after that, my brother caught the robbery charge. He caught the robbery charge then. And it kind of separated the 50-50 twin thing. See, I can talk about it now because he's done 15 years on his 45-year sentence. And the night that it happened, I didn't know that my brother was in the streets as deep as he was. I was kind of like a Robert De Niro. He was kind of like a Joe Pesci. He was gangster, and I wasn't. I was conservative gangster. But he was out robbing already, and I didn't know that. And he he went out one day, I guess with some constituents. I don't know who they were. You know what I mean? To keep it player, but they went and they tried to rob a Shoney's hotel. You know what I'm saying? And like they was trying to hit big, and when they got to the hotel, he saw a man with a briefcase, and the briefcase made him think money in the briefcase. And he got out the car. They were in his car, and he got out and he pointed the gun at the man and was like, "Give it here." And when the man reached for the gun, he shot, boom, and he shot the man in the mouth. And when the man was shot, his adrenaline was pumping, and he struggled for the gun, struggling for his life. I don't say this with pride at all. I don't, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tell you how. When the gun went off, it shot the man in the trachea, and the man got the gun in his possession. And when my brother let go, my brother took off running, and the man shot him in the hip. And when he shot him in the hip, he fell, and then the man shot again and shot him in the head. You know what I mean? But the bullet actually grazed his head. You know what I mean? And when his constituents, I don't call them friends, when they heard the gunshots, they were in his car. They backed his car up, dragged him in the car, and one of his Reeboks fell off. You know what I mean? And when they drove him in the car, they took him to the hospital. The other ones, they left. They left. But it was one loyal friend that wanted to stay at the hospital with him, and my brother was like, "No, man, just leave me here." You know what I mean? I ain't no use of all of us going down for this. So that night, something weird happened. I was on North Borough on north side of Houston, and my daughter's mother, she said that I was holding my hip in my head in my sleep. You know what I mean? So that thing about twins is true. And all of a sudden the phone rang, and somebody said, "Twin, your brother got shot in the head." And I panicked. We rushed to the hospital, and when I got there, my brother was handcuffed to the bed, at Parkway Hospital. And when I walked in the entrance door, the police officer jumped like he seen a ghost. He was like, "You got to get out of here! You got to get out of here!" He thought my brother. He looked like this, like, "You got to get out of here!" Like he thought my brother had got out the bed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that was the last image of me seeing my brother until I went to visit him. And I was working at Platinum Stars. It was Slim Thug's music shop by Clown Forest High School, and I would run that store, and somebody else would run Exchange of Sounds. But my brother called me one day, and he said, He said, bro, he said, man, they gave me 45 days. And I was like, for real, for real, for real? And then he just started crying hard. He was like, no, man, they gave me 45 years. And the reason why that happened is he didn't know what a pre-sentence investigation was. He had a lawyer and everything. But the lawyer, she didn't tell him what a pre-sentence investigation was. And he thought it was something that's going to benefit him. And he signed for a pre-sentence investigation. And the judge reviewed our past. And she said that we were terrible people, and that wasn't the case at all. You know what I'm saying? She went to high school records, everything, and so that's how he ended up getting the 45 years. When that happened, I ain't gonna lie, the block cried, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like we had a lot, we still do, had a lot of pull, man, and the block was messed up because they felt like he shouldn't have had to go to that extent to get money when we were actually we were doing a lot of flows on the Boss Hogg Outlaw CDs, you know, this and that. I love Ray Face to death, you know what I mean? I love Thugger, you know what I'm saying? But the block felt like we should have been paper made, you know what I'm saying? Like our accounts, because when the Big Ballin shot Callin, I mean the Bad Up came out, I know we sold like 30,000 easy, you know what I mean? And that ain't no sad song. That's just true, you know what I mean? Much love to Slim Thugger, by the way, you know what I'm saying? Much love to Ray Face. I'm a Boss Hogg Outlaw for life. I got it tagged on me. But that's how the block felt. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Screens fall like rain while my trunk shake like thunder. Call Jesse Jackson cause I just dragged my bumper. Boys didn't understand my new ice. Birdman, Daffy Duck on the door with a swisher in his hand. Swang through Cloverland.